Sell me this pen on Bub Carrington.
All right, here we go. When it comes to Bub Carrington, it's as simple as he was as Corey mentioned, the youngest. He is the youngest domestic player in this class. An absolute shooter, a bucket getter, a guy who can really shoot it from outside and in the mid range. Has got a good handle to him, real passing chops to him as well. You put him in a ball screen, and he's going to know what to do. And the thing with him is, I truly believe that what we saw from him as a shooter in college is the floor. He's only going to get better. He's going to become more efficient. We know that he can make decisive decisions coming off of these ball screens, and a guy that you can see playing, as we've talked about, both on and off the ball. I think he's actually a sneaky good cutter, a guy who moves really well off ball, and I think he's going to continue to develop as a catch and shoot jump shooter. So considering all those things, you should probably use a high-end pick on a guy like that, because offense is always at a premium. You need guys who can put the ball in the basket in the modern NBA. And so I think Bub Carrington would be a great choice for a lot of teams picking towards the middle, top, anywhere in the draft, honestly.
All right. So last thing before we move on, actually, and Smooth Hoops in the chat says Bub is in that Keontae George mold, and he just made the all-rookie team, and I like Bub even more than I like George. So, and I mentioned that comment because Keontae is the guy that I had on my list here. So if you're buying stock in Bub Carrington, who may you have bought stock in previously?
Dude, this was really, really hard for me. I think somebody in the chat before mentioned CJ McCollum.
On my list.
I think that's very interesting. Honestly, Corey, when we talked about it before, I think his size, length, offensive diet, archetype, all that stuff made it really, really difficult for me to find somebody. I'm actually going to defer to you on that one, because the only one that I could really think of was CJ. And I don't think that was the best one.
You know what? I think CJ is pretty good. Just because CJ's not a dude who puts a lot of pressure on the rim and does get by with his shot making ability. I did a BART query myself recently, and let me see if I can find it on Twitter. Yeah, so it was assist percentage over 20, defensive rebound over 15, over 10 3-point attempts per 100 possession freshman, and it was D'Angelo Russell and Cole Anthony. So I could see a little bit of the D-Lo.
Yeah.
But no bounce, Anthony Simons. Less bounce, Anthony Simons. He only had 2 dunks. So maybe no bounce, Anthony Simons. So, but like that kind of style, I think. But guys who don't put like a ton of pressure on the rim and mostly get by with their shot making, but also have a little bit of playmaking to their bag too. And guys that can play on and off the ball, most importantly, I think.
I have one. I don't know if you're going to love it, but
I'd love to hear it.
It would feel weird for me to not throw in a 90s guy. What about a little bit taller, right-handed Nick Van Exel? Just throwing that out there.
Well, I love Nick. Nick the Quick. Love Nick Van Exel. I could see it.
Yeah. Especially like later on in his career, like what Van Exel became.
Dallas.
And stuff. Exactly. Like this guy who, was a point guard early on, later on became kind of like a, undersized off guard, playing with Nash, whatever. I think kind of interesting, but then also Van Exel had so much sauce. But then Carrington does too. So anyway, Nick Van Exel.